This is Lionheart Radio.
Big Boots and Celtic Roots with Fiona Elcoat every Saturday between 7pm and 10pm on Lionheart Radio, 107.3 FM.
And if all the technical glitches have gone down, we should have on the end of the phone Thomas. Hi Thomas, are you there?
Good evening.
Yay! It's great to have you on the phone. Thank you for taking time out to speak to us on Big Boots and Celtic Roots. So tell us, when did it all start for you? When did you decide to become a musician?
I don't know if I decided to become a musician or music decided I was right for that. I think I was about 7 years old when I first started singing in the school choir. I'd done that for a long time, and then obviously later on when I got to about 16 or 17 I decided I was going to be a rock star.
Yeah.
And, you know, got together with a friend of mine and we started this electro duo called Bonafide.
All right.
It was good. It was good at the time, you know, but there was a lot of guy liner going about.
Mm-hmm. So, who, if anybody, are your influences, or is it all pure Thomas McCallum?
Well, no, I have so many influences in my life, it's unbelievable. I mean, some of the biggest influences in my life are guys like Roddy Frame, who used to be an Aztec Camera, who's now still doing it on his own, you know, U2, Sting, even to as far as a guy called Cole Wilkinson, who's a classical singer, who appeared in the film Les Miserables, you know, that sort of thing. So it's a kind of, it's what we used to call a universal taste in music, so I have many, many influences.
That's good. And I mean, your new album Voices, I've listened to it. I mean, I love the album, and many people are loving it. And you can't put it in a particular genre, which I know is a bit of a bugbear with a lot of musicians, because I know the industry bods like to sort of pigeonhole you into genres.
Of course.
But I don't feel. I actually prefer it when you can't pigeonhole a musician, because I think it shows sort of like originality and everything else. And I know all the musicians I speak to say they prefer not to be pigeonholed. You know, they want to do what they want to do, and that's what it should be. And I'm presuming that's the same for you. I don't suppose you put yourself in any genre.
Definitely not. I think because unsigned musicians have more freedom. You know, I can actually do almost what I like. You know, obviously trying to bring a quality track or a quality music to the public, you know. Yeah. But it's, you know, you do get pigeonholed, and it's only when you become, you know, much sought after or a product. When you become a product, then some people kind of lose the way. You know? Yeah. We're lucky enough because we're unsigned and we do it for the love of the music and not for the money. Yeah. That, you know, we can do what we like. Almost.
I think you find more and more musicians you speak to are sort of going their own way, and I mean, it's like record labels seem to be becoming a thing of the past, you know, and people are starting just doing their own indie labels or whatever, and why not? Why shouldn't you have control of what you're doing? You know, it's
exactly.
There's some great talent out there, including yourself, and we want to hear what you do, you know. So tell us a little bit about your album Voices, which we are featuring tonight. Where did the inspiration for that come from?
You're never going to believe this, but the inspiration actually came from, I had been in a previous band called Strange Touch. Right. And we'd done a lot of pop music sort of thing, you know, and it was good while it lasted, but it kind of just fizzled out as some things do. And I had set my goal after that. I thought, you know, I've spent 5 years honing a band together, and it's you know, the band's finished and that's fine. Yeah. You know, what am I going to do now? So I set myself a target of 6 months to write and record an album. Now, to say write and record, that's not strictly true, because I had some of the songs, but I would reckon about 8 for the 10 were written or rewritten, you know, and most of them were written from scratch. And I set myself that target, and I just made the 6 months target, because on the 28th of July I put it up on iTunes. Yeah. But it was just a simple process of taking one song at a time and getting in and recording it and doing it the best I could and bringing a quality product.
And I think you've certainly done that. As I say, we've been plugging it around, and I know you have. And Donald Stratton, who's tuned in tonight, has become a new fan.
Yeah, I've seen that
from last week, and he's going to give you a load of airplay on his show, so that's great. And it's all about networking, of course, as it always is. So if you can let everybody know where we can buy Voices and any other of your music from, because people always rush out during the show and buy everything. So.
Of course. At the moment, there's no physical CDs, but it is available on iTunes.
Yeah.
If you Google Thomas McCallum Voices, you'll get it on iTunes, or for those who don't like iTunes, you have it on Amazon as well.
Right.
You know, you'll find I have a Facebook page which is Thomas McCallum. It's a Facebook page, so it'll be www.facebook.com/Thomas McCallum Music. I also have a Reverb Nation page which will give you links to go to iTunes if you wish to buy the album. It would be much appreciated. It would help fund the next album.
Well, this is it, and I mean, so many bands are, trying to find ways to fund albums. It's not a cheap thing to do, obviously, we know, and but Voices has come out as a quality album. The whole of it, not just the music, but the whole lot, and we are looking forward to some more stuff from you. JD is actually busy putting up the links in the Social Club Forum where you can buy it from, so hopefully we may shift some of your tunes tonight with a bit of luck. Do you have any gigs coming up that you're wishing to plug while you're on air?
Well, don't have at the moment, but what I'm doing at the moment is I'm rehearsing a new band.
Right.
I've got a couple of friends that I've met through the music industry, who are top players. I've got a guy called Jim Davison, who's an amazing guitarist, a bass player called Ben Pale. So we're looking forward to, what we're intending to do is having 2 sets. We're having an all-electric set that we can take round venues, but also have, an acoustic set.
Yeah.
Slow it down, make it more mellow for the more, for like studio stuff, radio studios and stuff like that.
Well, I look forward to that, and it'd be great if you're down this way at some point, come in the studio and play for us live.
We'd love to. We'll arrange that. I'll get in contact with you and we'll arrange that.
Excellent, you're always welcome. Crash at my house and we'll have a jam. Might get my fiddle out and ruin everything. So what, are you actually writing another album now? Was Voices your debut album, or have you got other stuff?
Voices is my debut album. Yep, that is my debut album, and I have to give credit as well to the people who helped me with it. There's people singing on that.
Yeah.
Like, Lillian's an amazing vocalist. She sang on 3 of the songs with me. She does the duet with me in Time Slips.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to write, but she's my new writing partner. The two are starting to write together because she's got such a brilliant vocal range that it means I can write stuff that's kind of out of my range. I'm a tenor, so I'm limited. But she's an amazing vocalist. And Holly, who sang on Just Not There, and Jennifer, who sang on Chasing Rainbows, and Margaret, who sang on one of the other tracks as well. I couldn't have done it without these people. It was actually Lillian that came up with the name for the album, because we used all these people and all these different voices. That's where it came from, because all these people sing with me in a choir, community choir that we do. We raise money for charity and stuff like that.
Of course, yeah, the community choir, because we did play some music from them on the show a while back. I remember that now. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your involvement with that, because it's a great thing and they're absolutely brilliant.
Well, Soundsational started off with, I was getting vocal lessons from the guy who MDs the choir. He's a managing director, but he's also the musical director, who incidentally played the piano on Chasing Rainbows.
Yeah.
It's really good to have friends like that, and he badgered me to join the choir when I was getting vocal lessons, and eventually I joined the choir, and to be fair, I wouldn't have changed it, but what we do is, what he does is he tries to get money in by using, we go out and do charity gigs and stuff like that and bring money in, and it reduces the cost of things like vocal lessons, guitar lessons, bass lessons, music lessons for kids in the area where we work, which is like Coatbridge and Airdrie.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic thing to do. Plus it keeps you in touch with the kids, and they kind of remember that we're not all fuddy-duddies, and we remember that they still have a voice and stuff like that.
Well, it's a great thing, and I know you said when we did play some stuff from them that a lot of those kids have never actually sung before, and you can't believe it listening to it.
I think the statistics says 80% of the choir had never sang in public before, and we got to open one of the biggest venues in Scotland when the SEE Hydro opened.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
In the very first night, and you don't get any bigger than that.
Of course you don't know. No, that's brilliant. And I mean, we'll plug them as much as we can on the show because it is a great project. And I think the UK needs more stuff like that because, and I know sort of over the border in Scotland that music is sort of more available to kids, I find. I've spoke to Mark Wood over in America about this. In England, I had no chance of any of this being brought up in Sheffield. If you played an instrument or something, you were looked upon as, I don't know, an outcast of some description,
Of course.
And it's such a shame because the kids love it and it's a confidence builder. And go for it. Plug it as much as we can, definitely. Right, one last thing I want to mention before we say our goodbyes is last week I played a Deacon Blue track and you were making noises that you actually were in the official video for Wages Day.
I was indeed. And if you can pick me out, I shall give you three full-length versions of the album, the next album, if you can manage to pick me out. You won't, because it's a crowd scene. It was recorded in the Glasgow Barrowlands, and they were looking for roughly about 100 people to play the crowd.
Yeah.
So me and my brother went along. I think there was free beer. And there was free sandwiches, which swung it for us, because we were quite young at the time, obviously. But it was a great, great experience. And the funny thing about it was, about 20 years later, we got to gig on the same, with the choir, we got to gig on the same bill as them.
Fantastic.
We were doing a charity event.
Yeah.
So it went full circle.
That's absolutely brilliant stuff. And in another connection with tonight, a little bit of a more sad one, but George Donaldson, whose track I actually put on by mistake, but I am playing that shortly. But you actually went to school with him, I believe.
Well, I went to the same school as him.
Right.
George is 46, I believe. He's an amazing musician, but he would have been just coming into high school as I was leaving.
Right, yeah.
But I didn't know of him, because he came to the same school as me in the same area I lived in when I was young. It was very sad indeed when I read it the other night.
Yeah, shocked a lot of people, I think. Well, I will be playing that tribute to him later on. But for now, I want to say thank you very, very much to you, Thomas, for taking time out to speak to us. I'm getting mixed up with all these McCallums now. Try and spot him in the crowd scene and see if anybody can do it. I defy you. And in the meantime, I am going to, as we say goodbye, I'm going to stick Wages Day on, especially for you, because I did promise I'd play it for you.
I shall dance in the background.
Excellent. Can we have video, please?
Oh, certainly.
Right, well, thank you. Best of luck with Voices and
Thank
future
you
projects, and keep in touch and look forward to having you in the studio sometime.
Thank you very much.
No bother. This is Wages Day. I shall come and say goodbye to you on the phone in a minute.